Welcome to Getting to Know Chronicle. I'm John Stoner, a member of the adoption engineering team at Google Cloud, and today we are going to build a multi-event rule using a sliding window in our match statement. In previous videos, we have built multi-event rules with a match condition called a hop window. The hop window is the default windowing used for multi-event rules in Chronicle. While this works in many cases, there are occasions when a sliding window is needed, and that is what we are going to talk about today. In a sliding window, we're going to identify an event that opens the window and holds it open for a period of time before or after that event for the detection. The syntax in the match section remains basically the same, but the keywords before or after, followed by the event variable that opens the window, are appended to the original match condition. Providing a sliding window provides additional flexibility for detection use cases, but there is a performance cost to be mindful of. Nothing else about multi-event rules that has been previously discussed changes. Sliding windows just impact the data matched in the time frame identified. To illustrate how a sliding window works and doesn't work, here's a visual that our engineering team created. Our match condition is looking for values within a 5-minute window after the event denoted as A occurs. The window is held open once that A event occurs, and after 5 minutes it is closed. As previously mentioned, we can also use the before keyword to look for events that occur before the A event as well. The catch with sliding windows appears when there are a number of A events. When our criteria to open that match window is very broad, like process launch, user login, network connection, DNS query, we can end up with a tremendous amount of windows being held open. In these cases, it's better to use the default hop window and add in the ordering to use the event times and the greater than less than operators within the rule. However, in our example, we'll walk through an example that would be a decent fit for a sliding window. Our example to highlight the use of sliding windows is to build a detection around the extraction of the ntds.dit file. For those not familiar with the ntds.dit file, this is where Active Directory data is stored, including users and password hashes. It isn't readily available, but there are some different utilities and methods to gain access to it. For our example, we're going to monitor for process launches of 2 of those methods, and then monitor for the file creation of the ntds.dit file using our sliding window. Let's start by naming our rule ntds.dit T1003003, which is the MITRE ATT&CK technique and subtechnique ID, and add it in the meta section. In the events section, let's start by laying out the events that we want to monitor for. We have process launch events for both NTDS-UTIL and VSS-admin utilities, and to provide a little more precision, we have added some additional options to those utilities that might be seen in the command line. As always, we use the no-case modifier for user input fields. We enclose the command lines inside of parentheses and added an OR statement between them. If we want to add other command line processes, we could easily add them in this section. The other event we are interested in is the file creation event that occurs when the ntds.dit file is successfully created on the file system. For our example, we're monitoring a number of folder locations using Microsoft Sysmon. Because we don't know for sure where this file is going to be created, we have kept our criteria fairly broad using the regex expression and are basically looking for a file ending in .dit. The $ at the end of the regex means that it is the end of the field and not a substring. Because we don't expect to see a .dit file being created very often, or the NTDS-UTIL or VSS-admin with their respective command lines run very frequently, this might be a better option to use a sliding window with. We could improve this rule further by specifying just Active Directory servers as the systems this rule should run against, but we'll save that for another time. Let's go ahead and add the condition section. In our rule, we need a process and a file. There's no threshold needed, so our condition section is $process and $file. We need to join our events using a placeholder variable, and if we take a look at our UDM search, we can easily see in a tabular view that the principal.hostname is a common value in both the process and file creation events, so we can add that placeholder to both. For our match section, let's create this detection by grouping on that hostname value over a 2-minute window. Now, if we're using the default hop window, we would be done. But with the sliding window, we need to add our keyword of before or after and the event variable we are basing our detection around. Let's use our process event in the match section. Because we expect the process to trigger the file creation, we're going to add after $process to our match condition. Let's test our rule and see what we get. Here we can see we have 3 detections, and if we open our last one, we can see that we have 5 events. And by adding columns for target.file.full-path, target process command line, target process file full path, metadata product name, and metadata product event code, we can see some additional supporting information, including the process creation in Sysmon and Windows event logs. Because we don't expect to see this process launched frequently, setting the process as the event that opens the window is a reasonable choice. Alternatively, we could modify this detection and capture any processes that meet our criteria that occur 2 minutes before our file creation event. If we change our rule and then go ahead and test with this criteria, we can see a set of detections as well. In our example, because the .dit file creation and the process launch of NTDS util or VSSadmin don't occur frequently, these are both good choices to use as the triggering point in our sliding window. However, if one of our events happened much more frequently, we would not want to start our window with that event. I realize that was a bunch of info on sliding windows, so here are a few things to keep in mind. The sliding window can look forward or backward in time around an event, and this time range can span 1 minute to 48 hours. Once that window is opened, all events that meet the criteria in the event section is going to be pulled in. The syntax for sliding windows is very straightforward. Just append the keyword before or after and the event variable to your existing match section. Finally, the hop window is the Chronicle default and can be used for many use cases, and by using the ordering functionality we talked about in earlier videos, you may find that it provides the granular control you need. However, if you find the need for a sliding window, Chronicle can support that as well using the concepts we just discussed and demonstrated. If you want to learn more about Chronicle, check out my blog series called New to Chronicle for more handy tips. We have a number of community YARA-L detections at our GitHub site and are continually adding more. And don't forget to engage the security community at googlecloudcommunity.com. Thanks.